Hey everyone, I'm Summer. Welcome to my channel. Today I will share the design process of this male character. The body movements of my character were drawn while practicing the muscles. This video mainly shows the process of designing the costume for this character. For this role, I envisioned designing a male fashion blogger with a rather distinctive and cool look. Designing a character from scratch can be done from aspects such as the character's gender, occupation, level of civilization, personality, background, and personal preferences. This can make your character's personality more distinct. I usually do this when I have no idea, and many times I can get unexpected gains. Let's follow my train of thought and start drawing together below. Before doing the design, I will browse through a large number of clothing and styling pictures on the material website and find the pictures that I like and also match the character's temperament as references. First, I will design costumes for the characters based on the content of interest in the reference picture. Usually, multiple versions will be designed and then selected from them to proceed to the next step. For one plan, I referred to these several parts in the photo materials. The pleats and asymmetrical structure in the reference picture attracted me very much, so I applied these elements to the design part of the clothing. I designed the left cuff very wide to balance the drooping long hem on the right. The coat on the left is shorter, which perfectly echoes the narrow cuffs on the right. A lot of pleats were used at the left cuff. Usually, an element in a design needs to appear at least 3 times when used to avoid looking isolated. So I also added pleats at the lower edge of the waist jacket and the same element at the edge of the structure, extending from the left hip. The upper body is the key design area of the clothing, while the legs are designed relatively simply. In the shoe section, a pair of boots is designed, with the boot opening extending outward to change the rhythm of the outer contour. To reflect his profession as a fashion blogger, I added some props related to clothing design and production to him. I added pin inserters to his shoulders, ruler elements to the clothing connection structure, and chose a pair of scissors as his weapon. Based on the first plan, I also attempted to adjust the styling to create plans with different feelings. I think the hat is a bit big and the shape is rather round. The character's costume is mostly in a linear structure, and the hat doesn't match the costume. So I adjusted the shape of the hat to be mainly linear. During this process, several different methods were tried. Eventually, a relatively conservative design, like a chef's hat, was chosen. However, I was not satisfied with the final effect presented by this plan. I made the third version of the plan again. In this plan, I modified both the shoulder decoration and the head, removed the hat structure, and added thicker soles to the shoe part. This style seems a little too feminine. For the fourth plan, I changed the excessive curves to straight lines, wrapped and decorated a huge clothing ruler around the character, removed the excessive pleated decorations, and chose more straight and zigzagged lines for the styling. The decorations on the clothing also use linear patterns, with some bold triangular diagonal lines. The asymmetrical form is also retained, and the drooping structure on the clothing is also in a linear form. In order to adjust the relationship of the styling elements, some drooping linear structures were added to the clothing. The shape of the scissors has also been changed to a tough form according to the straight lines on the character's body. One character is rather thin. I was thinking that fashion design or the blogger doesn't work alone and will come into contact with many models. So I added a few model silhouettes behind the character, and later they can be designed in a semi-transparent form. I chose the last version of the sketch for advancement. Many parts in this sketch are not very clear. It's just a preliminary idea. The overall unity and integrity of the structure and shape of the clothing are far from sufficient. So I found more reference pictures. When looking through the photo materials, I envisioned which part of the characters the structures in these materials would be suitable for placement. And when arranging the pictures, I grouped them according to different positions. This way, when drawing, I could find the corresponding references more quickly. There are quite a few reference diagrams that interest me. I still plan to draw them all for comparison and then choose the final plan. The structure of the collar in this picture is very interesting. After analyzing the main way of the shape, I modified the structure on my picture. The style of the clothing can also refer to the style of the picture materials, but it is necessary to ensure the overall sense of the look. This picture as a whole gives a sense of being square and straight, and is also more rugged. This is something that should be retained when doing clothing design. For the pants section, to enhance the rhythm variation while retaining the square structure, I chose the form of shorts. The waist also added more linear layers. The shoes section also adopted zigzagged and short straight line designs. A circular pattern resembling the sun was designed on the clothing, and this part can be distinguished by color or material at the back. The hairstyles and accessories are also designed to be more street style, making the characters look younger. The weapons are uniformly styled in a straight line, consistent with the characters. The relatively large flexible tape structure is still retained and hangs down to the ground, which also enables the character design to form a stable equilateral triangle. Next, I adjusted several different clothing styling schemes based on the structures of different reference pictures. Retain some of the structures in the reference picture and combine them with the design elements on the existing clothing. The collar and pleats in this picture are quite interesting. Although it's women's clothing, the tough structure and lines are very neutral. For a fashion blogger's look, wearing such clothing is also very suitable. The sleeves and trousers are adjusted according to the rhythm and density relationship of the existing style. This design has added many relatively large pleats. I want to combine the pleats with the soft tape measure element so that many dense triangles are formed in the picture. There are no similar elements in the scissor-shaped design at present. We can consider how to add such elements. Then I looked for the clothing cut elements that could match the existing look in the reference picture and adjusted the form of the clothing. I also tried the design scheme of the long pants. The shorts would give a youthful feeling. I wanted to make this character more composed, so I made a new attempt. I want the trousers to be designed in a loose and more distinctive style, and the top has also been made with a straight and varied cut. On these trousers, I used the cross structure, formed by thick lines as decoration, still retaining the asymmetrical design structure. I really like the shirt with more pleats that I drew at the beginning. I tried to combine this shirt with loose trousers. After getting together, the crossed decorative elements on the trousers and the triangular pleats on the top were not harmonious. I adjusted the decorative form on the trousers again. I chose the final version. Sort out the structure, complete the occlusions and incomplete parts, and then you can draw the final line draft. The clothing I drew first. I'm quite interested in this part, and there are sufficient reference pictures at the same time. After finishing all the line drawings, I tried to make two color schemes. These two groups of color schemes are mainly dark in color, but the hues with color options are different, and the color matching methods are also not the same. For this blue-toned one, I chose the complementary colors of yellow and blue, and then split the blue into purple and a brighter blue. At the same time, I adjusted the lightness and saturation of the yellow, purple, and blue, respectively. The blue tone is the main color of this character. For the accent color, I chose a color between blue and purple, increasing its lightness and saturation so that this color won't be too jarring in the picture. The skin and hair were selected in highlightness colors. Also, to create a strong lightness contrast with the heavy color of the clothing and generate a stronger visual impact. For a small amount of metal material, I still choose to obtain it by reducing the saturation of the blue color blocks. This way, the color can be more unified. This is also my common way of color matching. When doing color matching, pay attention not to have too many types of colors. To achieve more color variations, you can adjust the lightness and saturation of the color blocks. For this color scheme, I chose the contrasting colors of red and blue-green, and also selected yellow as the metallic material. Yellow can also be regarded as gold, and treated as a achromatic color. The overall color saturation of this set is not high, so I only kept a small amount of red as an accent. The overall color is rather deep and mysterious. The main color is low saturation dark gray, and the decorations on the clothing also use different shades of gray. To make the colors more harmonious, I used a gradient from light gray to dark gray for the decorative ruler. The green, with its saturation reduced, was placed on the inner side of the ruler element fabric, presenting a faintly visible effect without being too eye-catching. The overall tone is rather dark, and I also chose a low brightness color for the skin. This way, the colors can be more harmonious. The two colors for decoration and the red accents can be more eye-catching, allowing the audience's attention to focus on the character's head and chest. The character I envisioned is a fashionable and cool image, so I didn't make any other bright color schemes. The second set of schemes is the one I prefer. Later, I will continue to render and refine it. That's all for today's sharing. I hope everyone can feel the joy of painting during the process. I will bring you more wonderful content. Stay tuned.